Humour me, guys. Humour me, humour me, humour me, and hold on, because I wouldn't have humoured me years ago. So, women, men, non-binary, anybody that's listening, I want to talk about mindfulness because it's something that I've been doing a lot for my other tier and for my Patreon and releasing on an ad hoc basis. And people look at me and think, are you nuts? You're actually going to be teaching us mindfulness and guiding us through mindfulness, but you're a hot fucking mess. Okay. I didn't always think mindfulness was an option for me, okay? Because if someone suggested mindfulness to me a few years ago, I'd have rolled my eyes and I probably would have seen my own brain. They would have rolled back so far. I genuinely thought mindfulness was one of those things that calm, organised, normal people did. And I didn't equate myself with them people. You know the type, they've got matching cushions, spotless kitchen, washing up always done. And they've got 3 houseplants that just aren't dead yet. And they drink herbal tea. And they listen to whale noises. And maybe I'm exaggerating, but that's how I imagined it, okay? It wasn't an AuDHD woman sitting around in a house that looked like a shit pit with kids that were trying to murder each other, screaming, swearing, and all the above. How could I practice mindfulness in that chaos? My life felt chaotic and my brain felt chaotic and everything felt chaotic. And people kept saying to me, try mindfulness. And what I heard was them saying something that was completely unobtainable to me. In fact, I thought they were taking the piss. When people would suggest to me to try mindfulness, I thought that they were taking the mickey out of me and they were like, let's mug her off completely and tell her to try something that's way above her class. Because I felt like such a twat and all of these like intelligent people were practicing mindfulness, and that was not something that my brain went to for myself. Because if I knew how to switch my brain off, don't you think I would have done it years ago? As someone with AuDHD, my brain never ever shuts up, specifically at 4:32 a.m. It's like I have 20 internet tabs open at the same time and they're all dialing up over one another. If you're that old and you remember that dial up and you used to pick the phone up and one put it down, that's what my brain is. It's constantly looping in and out and breaking down. One of them tabs are always thinking about dinner. One of them is always wondering about tomorrow. And one of them is always remembering that embarrassing situation that made me cringe in 1997. So the idea of sitting quietly with my unhinged, deranged thoughts and my unhinged, deranged kids running around in the background sounded like self-care gone wrong. It sounded more like torture. And honestly, the first few times I tried mindfulness, I felt like a complete idiot. Like I was trying to be something that I wasn't. Almost like I was trying to be something that I didn't deserve to be. I'd sit there trying to follow a guided meditation, and within 30 seconds I'd be thinking about my unpaid bills, why there's crap in the corner of my room, text messages, arguments, and so on and so forth. Then I'd think, well, this is pointless. And it'd make me more angry because I would feel like I was an imposter trying to be someone that I'm not and that I didn't deserve to be. Because I always felt like I was failing, and people that practice mindfulness, they're not failing, surely. What nobody explained properly is that mindfulness isn't about having no thoughts at all or living in complete and utter calmness. It's not about becoming some peaceful Zen master floating around on a fucking cloud. It's not about emptying your mind, but it's about noticing what's in your mind and what's happening. And that tiny difference changed everything for me, because my brain still wanders when I try to practice mindfulness. I still get distracted. Of course, I'm a hot mess. I'm Ellie. I still end up going back to the thoughts where I have imaginary arguments. I still catastrophize. I still overthink. But the difference is now I notice that I'm doing it, and I notice when my anxiety is taking over, and I notice when I'm carrying stress that doesn't belong to me, and I notice when I'm spiraling. And sometimes that awareness is enough to stop things getting worse, and that's something that I couldn't have executed a couple of years ago. Not always, and not perfectly. But I've stopped dissing mindfulness altogether now. I think one of the biggest myths is that mindfulness has to look a certain way. And you have to be like this skinny mini on a yoga mat in this perfect life. And I didn't think that was me, and I didn't deserve to do that. I imagine people sitting cross-legged on a yoga mat, always a yoga mat. But mindfulness isn't that. Sometimes it's standing outside for 2 minutes after finishing a cigarette because you're so stressed and actually just noticing the sky. Sometimes it's drinking a cup of tea without doom scrolling on your phone. And sometimes it's noticing that your shoulders are about tensed up, about next to your ears because you've been so stressed all day. Sometimes it's simply taking a breath and checking in with yourself before you kill someone. For me, mindfulness became less about becoming calm and more about noticing when I wasn't calm. And that's helped me more than I ever expected it would. Especially because when you're neurodivergent, life can feel like you're constantly running at full speed. Specifically when you have neurodivergent children that are also running at full speed after you, sometimes carrying weapons. Eventually, your body just gives up and it's had enough. So if you're listening to this and you've always thought mindfulness wasn't for you, I get it. I thought it was for a completely different crowd. I was right there with you. You don't need to become a meditation expert. You don't need to sit still for hours. And you don't need to suddenly become a different person to what you are, because we love you just as you are. You are good enough. Them yoga zen mums, they couldn't deal with your life. But you just need to be willing to give yourself a few moments of awareness every now and again. And if it helps, remember that the woman talking to you right now spent years thinking mindfulness was a complete pile of crap, spending years thinking mindfulness was something that she didn't deserve. So if I can change my mind, and believe me, I'm as stubborn as a fucking mule, maybe there's hope for the rest of us too. Before I go, one of the reasons I'm talking about this today is because I've decided to start sharing a relaxation or mindfulness audio every weekend for my subscribers. Not because I'm an expert, but because I'm not an expert. Because I know what I would have needed in the beginning when I was first starting out with my mindfulness. And I know when I first started being a mindfulness leader, I felt like a twat. I was like, oh, just breathe, blah, blah. I felt like, Shelley, shut up. But do you know what? People have listened to my mindfulness lately and they're like, wow, that really helped. And it helps more because we know if you could do it, then we can do it too. So if you're thinking of mindfulness, it is for you. You don't have to be a yoga zen mum. You can be a hot mess too. Take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you in the next episode.